Good evening, Starlights, and welcome to the Degeneration Podcast, Ray, the podcast for the degenerate generation. Here with me is my
With the
charming
fame,
co-host,
but with the
Mandato.
cool
Please
name.
introduce yourself.
It's like the original, but it has a cooler name.
True.
That's the difference.
It's like, uh, what was it called? Oh, it's like Disney, but they put XD at the end of it, so you know it's cool.
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Disney XD, that was the shit.
yeah. And since we don't have a guest, camera, get over here. Get over here. All right, there we go.
Oh, okay.
There we go. All right. Now, getting into some small talk. First off, how you doing? How are you?
Hi. I'm doing pretty okay, friend.
That's good. That's good.
Thumbs up, colon D, and all of that jazz.
Yes. Do you have any like anything you're doing recently or anything? Any small talk? If not,
No, I just have a
you gotta give me a fun fact.
I got it. I got a whole lot of work. I had a whole lot of work that I had to do, uh, which was a lot of schoolwork, and I didn't like doing it. But it's done now, so we're okay.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. And as everybody out there knows, it is exam season. So
Uh,
yeah. So
I
a lot
just
of
want to
people are
sleep in
canceling
tomorrow.
streams and not doing much right now. But once all that is over,
I'm just
things
gonna
will
sleep
resume
in.
normal programming. Which,
I'm
I
s-
mean, by the end of this week, exams should be over. But
Yeah,
some schools are on different timing. It just kind of depends.
yeah, that's fair.
But yeah,
Now
do you have a
then,
fun
hello.
fact for me? Since you don't have any small talk?
Sure. Pick a category.
Sea creatures. Can I get sea creatures for 500?
Sure. Okay. So a lot of people know the colossal squid.
Yeah.
Did you know that there's also a giant squid
Yeah.
and like do you know about the giant squid?
I don't know about the giant squid. Is it larger or is it the smaller one? I don't
Um
remember.
I believe it's if I remember correctly, I believe it's the larger one. Yes, it is. So the giant squid is much larger. However, we know not a lot, to be honest. We know some about it.
I think I did end up seeing an article somewhere that like mentioned it.
If I
Isn't it like
remember
we've only
correctly, we have
seen
had
like baby
12
versions of
sightings.
it?
Sorry?
Isn't it that like we've only seen immature ones?
For the most part. That's part of it. But it's also basically giant squids. Uh, it can definitely grow larger from what we think. But to be fair, colossal squids are bigger. It's just that giant squids are longer. They
Ah,
are deep sea ocean creatures, and what's very interesting about them is that we've had like so little sightings of them. Like we know they exist, we have information on them. We've even have a dead one, but like in the last since it was discovered, which was like I think 1954, we've only seen them like a handful of times total. They're just not real,
it's
like they're
kind of
fake.
weird. Like, is it that we just don't have the right
No, we're trying to find them. We
equipment,
just can't.
or like there's just not a lot of them?
So we don't believe that they're a concerned species. Um,
Hmm.
from what we have, what we believe is quite literally that they live too far down for us to see them
Ah.
much.
Yeah, because only in recent years we
The
discovered shit like the big fin squid, which is like
yeah. To
deep,
be
deep
fair,
down, and we only spotted like one of them.
what's really yes, what's really weird about this though, besides the fact that we mostly just have juveniles, um, is that we've discovered them at 1954, and we've seen. So we have had a while, actually, even longer ago, like 1873. Um, and we thought the one that we originally had in 1873 was a different species until eventually we realized, oh, okay, or was yeah, was like a basically an offshoot of a colossal squid, or maybe even fake. Until we found a new one, and then we were like, oh, okay, this is real, and so the scientific community started taking it seriously.
Huh? We found a big ass
So,
squid that is like slightly different than the other squids. What the
and
fuck?
yeah, no, there are a few big squids, but like the colossal squid, while big, we have like pretty solid info on it. To be honest, for the for the giant squid, just we have what we like. What's the word? We have what we were able to um
Infer.
not infer, dissect,
Gotcha.
and very very few actual sightings.
Well, very cool. Very
We
cool.
have no fucking clue.
God, actually going off of that, I don't remember if it was this century or not, but
We do know that sperm whales like them.
oh yeah, there's like a weird kind of rivalry with that for some
Yeah,
reason.
sperm whales really like the giant squid for some reason.
Yeah. And then we always see like
They go in and chomp.
the like tentacle marks all over whales as well.
Yeah, sometimes.
Weird. I don't remember if it was this century or not. I can't remember which year this was discovered, but because we used radar technology for a lot of our recording of the ocean, we thought the ocean was a lot shallower than it actually is because there's just a fucking blanket of sea creatures. I don't remember what it was called, what they're called, but it's basically this fish that is just part of schools fucking miles wide and just flat, so our radar was bouncing off of it and we thought it was the seafloor. I need to figure out sea
Kind of like the
floor
supermassive,
fish. Wait, no.
mile long. What's the word? Commune is probably the best word for it.
Is
Which
the
is like a living entity.
siphonophores? No,
Yeah,
wait, no. That's a different thing.
not
I
that,
don't
but
know.
like there is a
I know what
I
you're
believe
talking about.
forest that is all kind of connected into one entity, and technically counts as living. Therefore, it's like a mile long. It, my knowledge is spotty about it. It's been a while since I've seen it or information on it.
Was it lanternfish? No, right? Oh, it might have been lanternfish.
What about them?
That we
Oh yeah,
mistook for the
yeah,
seafloor because there's just so many of them. Yeah,
they're
lanternfish
really
make
cute.
up. Hold up, as much account for as much as 65% of all deep sea fish biomass. Why are there so many?
They're really
Why
good at what they do.
why is this such an efficient life form? What? Whatever. Cool.
Dude, these motherfuckers, 65% of all deep sea fish biomass.
65% of all the biomass in the deep sea.
Dude,
They
these guys
fucking.
are crazy.
All
That's
right.
insane.
All right. Well, moving on from giant squids and lanternfish, I'm gonna get into my small talk, which is not gonna be about me. My small talk segments have been slowly turning into the news segment of this because, well, I guess it's actually mostly because I keep up with VTuber news just a tiny bit more than you do. So, but some of this stuff is going to be covering stuff I've already talked about, and some of it is going to be new stuff. Actually, a lot of it's going to be new stuff. But the first thing here is Nanashi Mume, Gargura, and Murasaki Shion have all left Hololive. Nanashi Mume on health terms, Gargura on disagreements with Hololive management and the direction of the company, and Murasaki Shion were I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it. I'm not a big Shion fan because JP don't speak Japanese. But they've all left Hololive, and I know Mume and Gura both had 3D performances before leaving, so that was very cool. I got to see little snippets and little clips from that, but it was super cool. Gura had a really cool outfit. I don't know if it was her Atlantean outfit or if it was just like a new outfit they made for it, but I guess it'd be kind of a waste if they made a new outfit just for one performance and
Fair
then to
enough.
retire the character. But yeah,
Hmm.
all right. The second thing, Matara Khan has been, the wording has been softened, but basically fired from V Shoujo. They they parted ways, and it was on V Shoujo's part, and I don't believe we ever gotten a full reason. I don't think we're ever gonna get a full reason. So all we know that it was on V Shoujo's side, and Matara has intentionally not gone into like the details of that because obviously that's legal stuff and yeah, she's covering her ass, which makes sense. But she's gonna stay as Matara Khan. She gets to keep all her stuff because V Shoujo's based in cool and also Western. So yeah. Also, V Shoujo's kind of a partnership of indies. God, I could do a whole like segment talking about V Shoujo and how strange this company is, but I'm not going to. I'm going to end my small talk segment off with just a short, very, very short, brief in look on the Cinder situation because it is a crazy and complicated situation that we do not have time for. That would be a whole like it would like be like a whole hour and a half segment all by itself, and we're not going to do that because one, I don't want to because it would take up way too much time. We don't have time for it, and it's a lot of like it's a lot of just cringe ass shit. So we're gonna look at the Tectone post because Tectone did a summary of it. Um, let's see. Oh wait, no, they were summarizing the actual documents. Um, okay, so I'm gonna summarize it. I'm gonna paraphrase the Tectone thing in my own context. So let's. I didn't prepare this because I'm bad at this. Okay, so basically, Cinder is a fucking sham who will throw. This is the bottom line. Cinder is a fucking sham who will throw literally anyone under the bus in order to further her brand. That is the conclusion, essentially. And along with like bad mouthing people in DMs, guilt tripping Nanoless into working with her more and exclusively working with her, even though they there was some talks of trying to make an exclusivity deal, but it was just really bad and also a lot of well, what is it called? Uh Basically insulting people for no reason and just like talking shit about other VTubers instead of just being like, "Hey, we want to make an exclusivity deal with you," and this and that. And mainly, this all had to do surrounding Bao and surrounding. Well, actually, it was mostly Bao, Nanolis, and Cinder and her partner uh, slash manager Red slash Redacted um had been messing with them, or not messing with them, but like hmm, basically doing really scummy things behind the scenes. But you guys can go look into that. Uh, there's a lot of people who have really good videos about it, and I mean, you can look at the Tectone post. You can look at. I'm pretty sure basically everyone's made a video on this. Anyone who covers anything news related to VTubers, but it is a crazy downfall, and what's it called? Unless eh, unless what's it called? Gamer Subs drops Cinder, I don't know how their sales are gonna do. Because as some people know, Cinder is a partial owner of Gamer Subs. So yeah, it's basically Cinder has stepped on everyone's head to try to get to the top and is suffering tremendously for it because of her greed. So yeah, any questions?
No.
All right, then we can move on for that so I don't have to talk about that for another 30 minutes. And we'll get into our main topic for today, our little philosophy lesson, Mandato's philosophy lesson.
I don't like it.
So
I don't like philosophy very much.
I know you don't like philosophy. It's actually your least favorite topic. I know you did an anti-study. You did an anti-course for it. You actually
I
took a
did
course in
three actually.
college. You took 3 courses in college to actually forget philosophy.
Yeah.
All right, so bring on your next topic, your
Anyway,
first
I do think
topic.
philosophers are stupid, and let me explain why.
Let's
So,
go.
let us start with Socrates.
hmm
Do you know what Socrates' thing was?
You know, I don't remember them by name. If you told me, I probably could give you a rundown, but I don't
Okay.
remember.
So Socrates might have existed. Question mark.
Oh
We
yeah.
don't fucking know because the information on him is incredibly sparse and mostly comes from another source, Plato, and we don't know whether or not Plato made him up.
Wait,
Anyway,
what?
Socrates.
I know that happens with a lot of Chinese philosophers, but that happens with
So anyway,
the
Socrates might have
okay.
existed, and if he did exist, he lived to be about 71. Doesn't really matter.
That's pretty
He
fucking
he got
old.
poisoned. Anyway,
All
um,
right, go
so
on.
anyway, so starting on like Socrates, Socrates, um, who really likes t-shirts by the way and soccer, um, his one of his or I should say, his main viewpoint is that presuming that you know something is how you know that you don't.
What?
If you do not question every piece of information that you receive and every belief that you hold that you have not already questioned, sometimes even multiple times, then you don't actually know a thing. In fact, to know a thing is nearly impossible because you cannot understand or comprehend objective truth, um,
I
because
see.
you are not like God, right?
hmm
So what you can only understand is the um, some observations about the universe that you believe to be correct, which is a belief. but might be a belief held by all humans.
Expanded, it's
And
sort of that you
the
understand things in
conclusions,
relativity to other things.
right? The conclusion that you draw from that cannot ever truly be exact. It is an interpretation of fact. And fact you cannot know because you are not a divine or arbiter, except for you, I guess. But like
Hmm.
we're talking about the normal humans.
I put it on the page, and that's what it is.
Okay,
It is what it is.
that's
It's
Mr.
not as simple as
Socrates.
that.
So his main things uh is so funny. His main thing was that he was saying, I don't know anything. And then he walked over to random fucking people and just asked them questions like, "Hey, what is a fish? Why do you know what a fish is? Why do you think you know what a fish is?"
So he walked up to people. Hey, do you know what a fish is? No.
Kind of. I love it. Socrates is the only based philosopher because his belief was legitimately um, that no one can ever truly craft a perfect philosophy. It is legitimately impossible. Um, or hell, like whatever, because no one is God. So because we all have specific piece, like whatever of information, we can only make assumptions, and therefore, the first step to creating the best philosophy that you can is understanding that you don't know anything at all. Uh,
Jesus Christ. That sounds like fucking. That sounds like the magic system from Adventure Time. The
yeah. Oh, you
the,
mean like how
the
you have to
idea.
understand that like the
The you
universe is not real, but also you are real?
have to understand that you don't exist, but you do.
Yes,
Like,
it's wild.
okay.
All right, then there was Plato. Plato has a lot of beliefs.
Oh, really?
It would take too long to go over all of them.
All right. We'll
Um,
cover
he
the main
made
ones,
he
the
made
funny ones.
thousands and thousands of pages of works. But
Oh God, is he like the Alexander Hamilton of philosophy? Like just fucking writing everything down that no one's gonna read.
Plato was one of them. But if you want to point to another person, I'd say Kant is another, because he was a Kant. And okay, okay, I'm sorry. Aristotle, maybe it depends on your interpretation of his works. Um, anyway, point is, I would like to bring up a fun part of Plato's beliefs
Hit me with it.
that I find particularly interesting. Are you aware of the cave?
I am aware of the cave.
Do you know the whole story?
I forgore.
That's okay. So, Plato believed that the world is a cave. But let's start with the analogy and then extrapolate it. So he believed that everyone is born inside of a cave, chained to a wall. They can see shadows on from the torchlight on um, the wall and exist in their own little universe and think they know what the world looks like. Um, However, everything that they know is a shadow on the wall. The effect of a thing, not necessarily the substance of a thing. Everything is distorted, not the truth, necessarily. But philosophers, philosophers only,
Hmm.
are the smart people.
Ah, yes.
Hold on,
The
hold on.
divinely inspired.
Correct. Who manage to free themselves from their chains and walk out into the sunlight. To know truth. and the world and be able to actually explore and experience the true sensations of the world. They have all of their senses. They don't see shadows, they see the real form of things, which is why philosophers deserve a spot in government.
Is this really? Is this really the belief?
Yeah.
How pretentious.
Philosophers need a spot in government because they need to be able to work with the other people to lead. To be fair, he did not say let's make everyone philosophers, um, because he said there is a reason that the cave exists. It is comfortable, and it would be impractical to remove everyone from it. So there needs to be leaders inside of the cave who understand how those people think and can guide them. But there also needs to be seekers of truth who work with those people, the philosophers specifically the people that he was and liked. Um,
So so he saw
Coincidentally,
himself as a special little arbiter of God
he saw
who
himself
can
as
see the
the
truth and
seer
interpret
of
it
truth and
to
justice in the American way.
wow.
He was patriotic as fuck.
Truly an inspiration.
Dude, he was so
Only
sexy.
he can
Ah,
see the truth. So
he
he
was
has to
so
interpret it to the
sexy. Ah,
leaders.
I know.
That sounds so fucking pretentious.
Yeah. So anyway, that's part of the reason why I don't like philosophy because pretension is a big part
You
of it.
know, it really is actually, yeah. That's why I wanted to do this episode because it's funny. It's really fun
There
because a
are
lot of
some.
philosophy comes from pretension.
Mhm. All right, let's start. In that case, let's go over to Marxism for a bit.
Ooh.
I want to talk about Marxism. So, Marxism is a very interesting philosophical school of thought because Marx was a really good guy in a way that he was probably too much of a good guy. I, dude,
Ah, yes,
I
I'm
love
good and I
Marx,
believe
man.
everyone else is. Why
Yeah,
would anyone be
he
wrong?
believes legitimately and unironically that the natural mode of people is good, and that people are corrupted by their desires and influences, the earthly and worldly desires, right? But at their core, they are good. So the way that they need to exist is by working together, um, basically, right? Um, to to own a thing is this is part of the reason why communism believes this, right? But to own a thing is a crime, but not like literally like communism. To own a thing is a crime against yourself because
Hmm.
to own a thing is to covet more of the thing. If you do not own anything, you will not want for anything because you whenever you want for something, you will have as much as you need. That's the societal idea, right? If everyone only takes as much as they need and gives as much as they have, then we'll be good.
You
Um,
know, it really is just a it's such a wholesome idea.
I love Marx, man, but he was too pure for this world. He did not.
Is he's just a little cinnamon roll.
He's
He
just a
don't know
little.
how the world work.
I mean, he has a fucking great ass beard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely. Was okay, I don't know anything about
now
his
it's not as
childhood.
wonderful as Nietzsche's mustache, but we'll get to that later.
Oh, yeah. I do know. I do actually know. Uh how did Marx grow up? Do you know the history of that? Like was he
Like as
rich
a
or was he
person.
poor?
Okay, so
'Cause,
Karl
like I feel like he
Marx.
could have been very poor or very rich with his philosophy.
Yeah, Karl Marx. Let me put it this way: he was born originally in 18
I'm sorry, can you repeat
and
that?
okay, so he was born originally in 1818
Okay.
and he received a doctorate from a university.
Hmm.
So he was
Okay.
not poor,
Okay, so he was well off.
pretty well off, honestly.
Yeah.
Um,
God, because that just reminds
he
me of
also
the
did a lot of very interesting things. Specifically, some of the belief of like why he formed it was because of his reaction to Hegel's work, which
Hegel.
is not.
I'm actually unaware.
It's fine. Um, Basically, Hegel's beliefs were kind of that the way that we work is that like we cannot presume any truths that we have not done, and um, self-determination is the essence of humankind. He has some weird beliefs, but like basically skeptic. He was a skeptic, right? But he was like the
Hmm.
most hardcore skeptic.
I see. Like fly to the Arctic Circle to see if it's flat.
If it's
Kind
real,
of
yeah.
skeptical. Yeah.
If someone just fucking made it up.
Fly around the world to see if it's round.
How does he even know?
Amelia Earhart looking ass.
Anyway, yeah, the problem primarily with Marx's ideology is that while a lot of the elements of his ideology and philosophy are legitimately pretty interesting and useful, they need to be adapted, kind of like Freud. We
Hmm.
can talk about Freud if we have time, I guess. But
Yeah, we'll definitely have time.
Freud, like Freud, Marx's initial philosophy is not as useful as a lot of the schools of thought that come from his philosophy.
Hmm.
He gave a lot of interesting points, and because his philosophy was so extreme in a way, um, it offered a lot, like a different way of thinking than a lot of people are used to. And
Yeah.
honestly, he was a cinnamon roll.
It kind of reminds me of the what's it
Basically,
called? The the philosophy behind Buddhism, like the original story of how it was created,
mhm,
where like basically rich guy goes out, sees how the world is and like, well shit, I got to get rid of all my possessions and then and
yeah,
then meditate under a tree for like a week straight. And
yeah.
then I figured out how to
Anyway,
understand the fact, ignore the fact that we're all dying, and then he ascended.
fucking real.
The summarized version of Buddhism.
But if you want, that is true. But kind of, if you want, like, just like a example, Frederick Engels. By the way, Engels was a co-founder of Marxism, longtime friend of Marx. Um, like lifetime. Uh, his direct quote is sorry, the capitalist mode of appropriation in which the product enslaves first the producer and then the appropriator is replaced by the mode of appropriation of the products that is based upon the nature of the modern means of production. Upon the one hand, direct social appropriation as means to the maintenance and existential of product. On the other, direct individual appropriation as means of substance and enjoyment.
The Gundam based.
But yeah, basically, his argument was no one can be fucking happy because everyone wants, and everyone wants because we own.
Hmm.
It first enslaves the person who makes it and then the person who has it, and forces them into a system that is not beneficial to either one of them. So the only way that you can be beneficial is if you do something because you want to, and not because you're going to get money for it.
Yeah, it
And if
actually
you are,
reminds me
yeah,
of another story. So I don't remember where I saw this. I think it might have been a YouTube short, but it was this guy. It was this Mexican guy who was a fisherman, and he was approached by a American capitalist, and he was like, "Okay, I fish, I get food for my family, I sell whatever's left at the market, and then I go home." And the capitalist guy is like, "Why don't you just fish more?" Because then he's like, "Why?" He's like, "Because you can make more money, and then you could like then you could start a business." He's like, "But why? Why would I do that?" He's like, "So that you can make more money, and then you can escalate it into an empire." He's like, "Okay, but why would I do that? I'm just feeding my family."
yeah, fair enough.
It's like that same thing. It's like the idea that we're controlled by our greed. It's the same
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, like you get more money to get more money to get more money to get more money to get more like
And for
when does it
what?
end?
It doesn't end. The cup just
Yeah,
gets bigger.
exactly. Which is why part of the reason why Marx was so well received, um, because people kind of resonated with his idea of, dude, I don't want to work until I die. Actually, doing something that I hate just so that I can buy something that I need. What if
Hmm.
instead I do something that I want to do, and then I get fed anyway? That'd
Yeah.
be awesome.
And it's the idea as well in an economy where you're like, okay, why are you, say, a barista? Why are you barista? Baristas don't make any money. You should be this instead. It's like, okay, should no one be baristas? Like, is that just not a job that we should have in society?
I think
Because like
by far the biggest one for that is janitors. Actually,
janitors, oh yes, absolutely.
janitors are just like constantly looked down upon, despite being quite literally necessary for our society to function.
Oh god, yeah.
As is,
And they make
we would need to
nothing.
significantly change the way that our society views trash and like cleaning up after ourselves if we were to get rid of them. Like
Oh my
it's
god,
just
wait.
not possible.
Um, where was it? It was somewhere in the UK. They were actually having a massive problem because all of the janitors went on strike. Or not all the janitors, all of the trash people. The the what are they called? Garbage men. All of the garbage men went on strike because it was a whole equal pay kind of thing. But I'm not gonna get in fully to it. But all of the garbage men went on strike, and trash just fucking piled up in the streets
Yeah,
after like a week. It's crazy.
yeah. I mean, they're one of the unsung heroes. Ironically, they're kind of sung occasionally now because they're so unsung.
Hmm. Like we're
But
realizing that we're like,
yeah, yeah,
oh
yeah.
wait,
But
yeah.
point is, yeah, those kinds of like the kinds of people that do the jobs that like people need to happen but aren't glorious are
Hmm.
kind of the people that are well, some of them are satisfied with their jobs, but some of them aren't, or whatever, right?
Yeah, they
So
don't get paid anything because there's no escalation from it.
mhm. So the theory is that if everyone just does what they want to do, so long as it provides a societal benefit specifically
Hmm.
in some way, um, then it is worth doing, and you should be paid. Well, not paid for it. Sorry, because
Yeah.
remember, money is property.
Yeah, yeah.
Money is property, and property is theft.
Compensated.
Compensated with food and what you need, and sometimes what you want too.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a really rosy look on how a society should work. it doesn't exactly work because communism. Not everyone's a good person. 99% of people aren't good people, but like we try, but it is what it is. It doesn't work.
Yep.
It's-
Anyway, point is, he was too good for this world, which is why he died. Not
yeah.
because everyone dies.
What, did he die of old age?
Yeah,
He made this philosophy and it's just like, all right, all right,
just
I,
fucking died immediately
I,
afterwards.
yep, I got it. I
No, no,
did it.
no. He lived to
Yeah,
be
he lived.
64.
He did live a whole life because I did hear the ERB,
Yeah, he lived to be
Karl Marx versus Henry
64.
Ford.
He lived
74.
like a proper life. Um I just like saying that he died because of his philosophy because it's funny. Anyway,
Yeah,
Marx was
man,
cool.
sweet precious cinnamon roll.
Sweet, precious little cinnamon roll who should not be in philosophy.
Yeah,
Actually, a lot of people would disagree because his beliefs led to more concrete beliefs that benefited the world.
true.
Some that
That's fair.
detrimented it because some dictators implemented
Hmm.
it. Some dictators that will go unnamed but just implied. Anyway,
We can name them.
okay, whatever. Like, I'm saying there are too many.
You know what? That's fair.
It's
That's a
communism.
fair reason. Yeah, that's a fair point. It's
If
communism. Yeah.
if you just want me to go over all of the communist
No, no,
leaders, I
no, no.
guess.
We're good. I think we're good. I think we're solid.
Okay,
I think we got it.
Nietzsche.
All right, Nietzsche.
Let's go over the opposite.
He was the Ubermensch, right?
Oh, he did more than just the Ubermensch, but
Well,
yes,
yeah, but that was his most popular thing,
that was part of it.
the one he's known
So
for.
I don't, I don't fucking like Nietzsche.
Don't you like Ubermensch? I'm pretty sure you've
No,
said
I
that.
think it's hilarious. I don't like it.
Oh, I see.
This motherfucker has the
Mm-hmm.
coolest mustache. Look at this.
Let's
What
see
is
it.
that?
It's yeah.
Holy shit, he was a gentleman.
He needs to. He needs to. He needs to brush it a little bit more, though. Let's be
True, true, true,
honest.
true, true. For that picture, yeah.
Yeah, but still, magnificent mustache. He looks
Holy
like my
shit.
engineering teacher in in my senior year.
He looks like he's about to say, Humph.
Yeah, Lorax looking motherfucker.
I don't know. I kind of love it. Anyway, Nietzsche was.
Heimerdinger.
Uh, Nietzsche's hard to explain everything in a like short amount of time. So we'll skip the historical perspective. We'll talk about the Ubermensch for a bit because we have to,
Mm-hmm.
and
Obviously.
we'll talk about cruelty,
Hmm.
and that's where we're gonna stop. But he did a lot. He did nihilism. Anyway,
Oh yeah.
let's go over it. So this motherfucker is. let's just start with Ubermensch. So Ubermensch is his perfected human. Specifically, his belief was that the Ubermensch was someone who has crossed over. Uh, let me put it this way: there is a tightrope. Um, most everyone in the world, in his perspective, is on one end of the tightrope. There are some people who decide, for some reason or another, to cross it, and almost everyone fails, and they die, metaphorically, sometimes literally. Um,
Hmm.
but the people who actually cross it are the Ubermensch. Basically, his idea of a perfect human. His idea was that the only way to become the Ubermensch is becoming something that is greater than what you are through sheer force of will and like hard work and dedication that is extremely difficult to accomplish because you need to break down what you are and become above and beyond what you are. Uh, Superman is an Ubermensch.
Yeah. Well, actually, he
Um,
wasn't human.
Shut up.
No, I
But
get your point. Yeah,
yes, fundamentally, his
he's like
idea
greater
was
than.
yes. His idea behind the Ubermensch was very vague as to exactly what he wanted it to be, but basically, his general goal, right, was that your personality should reflect the core values that human beings most value, like honesty, like not selflessness, actually, surprisingly.
Hmm.
His belief was in a Superman who was just the best, right? Not necessarily that helped everyone that he came across. While generosity was definitely a good thing, generosity should not be something that you feel pressured to do.
Hmm.
Generosity is something that you should do only when you want to.
Yeah, it should be a
Why
natural thing.
exactly? It not necessarily exclusive. Yes, exactly. Um, Basically, Ubermensch disconnects themselves from society and societal expectations to become someone that is so well grounded in themselves that they are able to make decisions onto the society and everyone else follows. So they are self righteous. In a lot of ways, the Ubermensch is really interesting because he's not totally wrong. That is kind of how we viewed great people throughout all of history. And in a lot of ways, his idea of the Ubermensch excluded morality. So you could technically be the Ubermensch and be the worst human,
Really.
morally. You could murder billions. Not
So
literally, but
Yujiro Hanma would be the Ubermensch.
correct. Yujiro Hanma is the Ubermensch.
Hmm. But like, if you're a bad person, you're not representative of all of the ideals that are part of it.
No, I know, but
But
basically,
it's more
it's
more about
interesting that his
being
ideal of a human
most of them.
being does not include morality.
Hmm. So you're
Anyway,
above morality.
actually, yes.
I see.
Not literally above morality, like he still believed that morality was important somewhat, but he believed that you could decide morality
Gotcha, gotcha.
if you were the self-actualized human being.
So you're so perfect that the rules follow with you,
Correct. You guide
essentially.
other people
I see.
into just ever in general. He believed that most people can't become the Ubermensch, either because they will fail on the way, or because they will just not decide to cross.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
dangerous.
mean, hmm.
Ego death, etc. Not
Oh
that's not.
yeah.
He never used that word, of course. That
I feel
was
like that's more of a modern term, or slightly
yeah, it
more
is.
modern
It was
term than
after
him.
him.
Yeah.
It was Freud.
Ah, I
Anyway,
see.
regardless, point is, this guy, that's Ubermensch. Now,
I mean,
cruelty.
I think when it comes to Ubermensch, like there is a humility in realizing that you don't have it what it takes to be an Ubermensch.
That's her.
I yeah. I'd also
Um,
want to mention because I didn't mention it in my small talk, and I said I was going to in the past episode. because I discovered this and it's the greatest thing ever. And while we're on the topic of Ubermensch, uh, all of you people in chat, I would like you to go look up when you have the chance. Team Echo, the Emerald City Heroes organization. Uh, it is a very cool organization of literally the modern day superheroes. Um,
That
but
is what they do.
mostly what they do is helping public safety and breaking up fights, helping the homeless, stuff like that. And they're very cool. So I just wanted to mention them really quick because I didn't get to in any small talk. But definitely go check them out, and I'll leave a link here to the wiki that they're on. Yeah. Anyways, you can continue.
Okay. So, shall I talk about cruelty or utilitarianism?
Cruelty, because you had already mentioned that you were going to go into that.
Okay. I'm asking because we only have a few minutes.
True, true. Uh,
We won't have enough time for both.
we have 5 minutes, so
Okay.
go into cruelty.
Okay. So, Nietzsche's idea was that, well, one of his many ideas, was that people. Actually, I do find this somewhat interesting and reflecting of reality. People naturally are cruel.
So the opposite of Marx.
Yeah, actually. He believed that everyone has cruelty in them because life is unfair. Um, and just in general, right? There is an innate cruelty to human nature that is a desire to inflict harm or pain upon another being. Most of the time, humans. And he believed that this cruelty can either be externalized or internalized. And that was the only two options. Um, without going too far into the much longer explanation of his historical views, um, he believed that modern day we internalize our cruelty. We turn it inwards and we make ourselves feel bad that we have it.
Mm,
Um,
see.
we exactly right. It's like the feeling of I hate that I'm like this, right?
Yeah,
But
like
it
I
is your
hate that I
nature.
thought that.
Yeah, it is your nature to be cruel, that you are denying yourself and you are inflicting harm upon yourself as punishment for nothing, really. Or you can
Mm.
externalize it and inflict cruelty on another person or thing. I personally believe that there is a third option, which is creativity. That those feelings can be expressed in a non-destructive way. But anyway, Um,
Mhm.
but externalization is how they did it before the church. It's going to take a little bit too long to explain, but before the church forced everyone to internalize their cruelty, which was primarily the death of aristocracy.
Mhm.
Um, before that, the peasants would sometimes inflict cruelty on one another or their children. But the important part was the aristocracy, the people who needed to be clear in mind and purpose, the people who were fit to lead had the option of inflicting cruelty on the lower class, and therefore were much sounder of mind and body.
Gotcha.
They were self
Mm.
they were able to become better than themselves because they were able to freely inflict cruelty on the lessers.
I see. So it was a cycle of they were better, so they were allowed to
They
inflict
were allowed
cruelty
to
onto
be
them,
better.
and because they did that, they were better, and
Yeah,
then looped. I
kind of.
see.
Um yeah, because the aristocracy was allowed to inflict it upon the lower class, they were able to make the best decisions for their time. And modern day, we have a problem where the people who are currently in office are not people who are inflicting cruelty upon their the lessers, right? Which means that they will not make the same choices, and the Ubermensch is harder to become
That's his
because
philosophy.
you aren't able to externalize your negative emotions.
I see. I was about to say because I think the upper class is very much doing that.
Yeah.
Very much
Um,
externalizing
though
their
this
cruelty. But
is
no.
Nietzsche
Yeah, I see.
died in 1900,
Mhm.
so he was still around for it. To be fair, but whatever.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway,
Well, we're out of time for this one,
that's
but
it. Yeah,
that was very cool, very fun.
we didn't go
It's
over
so
Kant or utilitarianism. Sad.
yeah, unfortunate. We got to keep these episodes
Or
short. It's
Freud.
not like the old days where we got 2 hour episodes, but
True.
it is a lot more compact. It's a lot easier to digest. So
Sounds like
thank you
12.
guys so much for listening.
Bye.
Uh, the
What?
outro. Uh,
There's an ad break.
this has been the podcast, the Degeneration Podcast Array, the podcast for the degenerate generation. Signing off. Bye, Starlights.
Bye. I just resubbed. Could you thank me?
No, you did not. It didn't
Yeah,
say
I
it.
did. I did. I resubbed.
Thank you anyway. Thank you.